I added, under the reasons to remove a tree, I added invasive species. I think that's, oh, and then there was a question of the tree replacement, whether there's a lot of specifics in the bylaw, whether some of that should be moved into a policy. So I think that's my ask for tonight, is what the board thinks of that. And then just to review the changes made. And I also put together a spreadsheet that had each section out, which section of Mass General Law it related to. Just so we know we're not very far afield, but it's what we're proposing is from Mass General Law.
Can I ask, what's the section that seemed to trip kind of people up at town meeting having to do with, can I plant tulips and under
That
the,
was the drip one.
that's the drip line? Can we just say you can't cause any damage to a public shade tree? Or
No,
something,
That's when the whole septic line
Right.
came up.
So that is,
it's just,
that's a section of chapter 87 that you can't, that it's a finable offense to destroy public tree.
I mean, without getting into details about whether you're digging tulips or you have an excavator.
Yeah,
I think it's great that you made those amendments or those changes. I think we just need something clear and concise for addressing the emergency septic one. That seemed to be the killer. Rather than get up there, because that's gonna happen. It's a Saturday, Tuesday.
well, that was the drip line thing.
No, it was a route getting in the septic, and if I have to replace my whole septic system, and
Yeah.
and it's just like, who do I call, and am I gonna get fined? So, I mean, so
Well, is there a septic in the right of way?
What was that?
I'm telling you that this
You
is,
should
this
have come,
is,
Karina.
that is
Come to
what,
the
it-
next one, Karina.
that is what it came down to. And it was, this individual said that they were gonna have their septic replaced within a day, over the weekend, because family was coming. And,
Hopefully it was approved.
who am I supposed to call, or something like that. So I think it's that, and she was making the point of emergency situation. Which I think we all agreed that if it was during a winter storm or something like that, you take it down, or, fire department would take it down. This is a little different than necessarily how you address that specifically, but that we're able to address that somehow. An emergency situation that you're not going to find proof that there are certain extenuating
So add
circumstances.
something to the emergency clause that relates to homeowners. So it would be to remove the trees and not
There's
damage
no
the
damage.
roots, because that's. Because it was in there, if you were excavating within the drip line, you would need a
Okay,
permit.
so in this way, you could screw up all the roots you want, but you couldn't take down the tree until it died. That's what we're going to be saying.
Well, so we don't specifically speak to the drip line, although Mass General Law says if you injure, deface, or destroy shrub, tree, or plant in a public way, it's a finable offense.
No, I mean, the same person's gonna get up again and be like, well, here's my scenario, am I gonna get in trouble? And I guess if it's, hey, yeah, you can dig and put in a new septic, you just can't take down the tree if it's alive. Okay. It's 2 years later, it died because they took up the roots. I don't know. I'm not trying to advocate for it. I'm just trying to figure out how we get by
Yeah,
that.
so that's a big thing.
Can I just make a quick recommendation, is that, like, it is very late, and not to dismiss this meeting, but I didn't read it, so I really can't
Right,
comment.
yeah.
could we again table this to the 12th and like take a chance to like review what it's, what you've done, what your changes are, so we can come back for a more productive, and hopefully again, maybe we put our own agenda items ahead of other people's in the discussion, so we can kind of get nailed down, and I will commit to reading it and reviewing it.
So
And
these items
think about how to
Right,
address
accommodate
Andrew's
that.
septic.
No.
It's not mine, hold on, like, I'm trying to help.
There were a lot
I'm
of
trying to
people who
help.
got up and talked about it. There were like 5 people who got up and stood and defended that, right? So I do think it's revisiting that tape like a little bit to hear what they said, what exactly was their concern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just gotta be able to like that. No, address it, not nip it. Address it. How was that get resolved? So somebody didn't think they're walking into 5 years old. I gotta replace it with the trees on the wall.
Very good.
You could ask the tree warden before they actually take the action.
No.
It
See,
happened on a
this was,
Sunday.
it happened on a Sunday, they're on a Saturday, and their septic system was blocked up, and they're having family come, and they're gonna replace the septic system the next day. That's literally what the person said. I'm not making it up.
Was there something original one already Title V compliant, or was it like a cesspool, you know, the old things that your dad would dig out every summer?
I mean, it's the worst possible situation that could ever exist ever. That was brought up as an example. That's what it was.
All 10 of them.
Right.
All right. Planners report. So this we will revisit on the 12th and think about how to address the septic and the policy question on whether some of that specifics can, yeah,
And I'll have an eye for that too. I'll try to see what I would recommend.
very good. Thank you.
Just a couple things. You already know the budget is due, so Marnie and I are working on that. We submitted placeholders for the full warrant articles. Scenic roads, tree protection bylaw, amend the sign code to add the downtown district to the BD, and Deb's proposal for environmental controls. So those are there. Now, whether we carry them all forward, see where we get. That. I think that's it. That's all I have for today.
Motion to accept the meeting minutes from October.
We don't have
don't have
any,
any
I'm
minutes.
sorry.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, Latrell, yes?
Mills, yes.
Stein, yes.
Lehan, yes.
Jamiria, yes.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thanksgiving.